Hi everyone, I'm Stella. Today I'm back with another video talking about what it's really like to work as a graphic designer in finance. Every week, I share insider tips about getting your US work visas, building a successful career in the creative industry, and I spill the secrets behind closed doors in corporate America. If you want more of this content, please remember to hit the subscribe button below so I can keep feeding you insider secrets for free. Whenever I tell people I'm a graphic designer, they always assume that I work for a creative agency. I can't blame them because that's exactly what I used to do. But then something happened. It's called a burnout. I was working very long hours, getting very little pay, all the while living in one of the world's most expensive cities, New York City. I love my job as a designer. I was very good at it and I had fun. But I had to ask myself, do I want fun? Or do I want fun, money, and a life? And the answer was clear. I want all of them. So I started looking elsewhere. And I landed a gig as a one-person creative team at a tech company. That was 4 to 5 years ago. And since then, I had moved on to a couple of other places. And by chance, I landed in financial services, one of the last places I expect myself to be. My decision to get into finance as a creative person was purely circumstantial. At the time, I was trying to get out of a toxic work situation, and my job application happened to get noticed by one of the recruiters at a big bank. I liked the money they offer, and the job they described wasn't all that bad. So I took the chance. After working in finance as a creative person for more than 4 years, I had my fair share of ups and downs. And I'd like to share with you a few things I learned along the way as an in-house designer in finance. First of all, I knew that it was going to be difficult to design for a financial services company because I've never been interested in finance. Sure, I was really interested in personal finance, such as how to manage my money, how to grow my wealth, and how to build my business. But I had absolutely no interest in learning about fixed income, wholesale payment, equities, or investment banking. I've never been interested, and I probably never will. Luckily, I was pretty good at coming up with a system to diffuse my lack of interest. So I would quickly skim through all the documents I'm supposed to read, and I pick out important information and statistics from these documents and turn them into beautiful and effective graphical treatments. I get the job done and people are happy about it until sometime later, a few people, aka my boss, started picking up cues that I didn't actually read the content. It's kind of like when you're trying to force yourself to like someone, maybe for political reasons, maybe for the sake of your children, people can eventually tell that you're faking it. And the same goes for working as a creative in-house. Even though you're not required to become a subject matter expert at whatever the company sells, my personal experience is a testimonial to the fact that if you don't want to be miserable, you at least have to be mildly interested in the product or services the company sells. If you're working for an agency, for a few months, you might be working on an insurance account, and for the next few months, you might be working for a beverage account. It's like you're still in dating phase and you're allowed to have different experience. However, when you work in-house, this is all you do all day, every day. And it's kind of like you're in a very serious relationship or in a traditional marriage where you are supposed to commit to that one person. You better make sure that you really like that person because you're in it for a while. One of the things that came as a culture shock when I first entered the finance world is how many rules and regulations are put into place to make sure that everything is done the right way. They're there for very good reasons because this is an industry where a tiny misconduct can lead to economic disaster or even national security risks. However, on an individual level, that means that every employee is heavily scrutinized. For example, I still remember that whenever I turn on my work computer, I always see this big screen that popped up that cannot be disabled, telling us that every communication that happened on this computer, on the phone, is monitored and documented. So we better be careful of what we say and what we do. The last thing I want to cover is adjusting to the corporate culture and dress code. When I first accepted the job as a graphic designer for the investment bank, I went on a shopping spree to replenish my wardrobe because I had nothing that looked even remotely corporate. I thought I had to buy black pencil skirt, black blazers, and black pumps to transform myself into a corporate looking employee. I was nervous about fitting in and complying with the dress code of the company. And sure enough, I did that for a few months, but I was feeling miserable inside. I did not feel like myself, and I was on the verge of quitting because I was so unhappy about how suffocating and corporate I feel like on the outside and inside. So I decided to give myself a break and did a 180, went back to what I was wearing before. I was wearing big puffy sleeves, bright colors, flowy long skirts. I did all of that. And surprisingly, nobody said anything. And that's it for my insider scoop on what it's really like to work as a graphic designer in finance. It's not for everyone, but you do have the opportunity to experience amazing perks at big corporations. You might get better pay, better hour, and better benefits than your agency jobs. And you get the opportunity to network with people outside of your normal bubble. However, on the other hand, you might have to sacrifice some of your creative freedom and control compared to your agency jobs. So there's no perfect scenario, but I want to provide you with all the information that you need. So if you find yourself in a similar situation where you're considering joining the in-house world as a creative, you have all the information you need and you know what to expect. If there's any career topics that you want me to cover in the future, please drop me a comment down below. I look forward to reading them and answering them. But until then, stay tuned.